Good afternoon. It is now 5:03, and I'll call the Master Plan Committee meeting of Wednesday, January 22nd to order. We got a lot of business to do tonight, and the first order of business is to recognize some of our new members. Some newish, some brand new. We have 4 total. Rebecca Lavalley, we all know Rebecca. Robert Leonardi. Robert, hello.
Hello.
Margaret Bacon from ZBA, and Dan Croft. So that brings our total to 13, which means it's all the more important that we have good attendance because we need 7 for a quorum now. And the total number on the master plan could be 15, 12 from boards, committees, commissions, and 3 at large. So we're still looking for 1 from school committee and Concom, right?
Yes.
Conservation Commission.
Yeah.
Welcome. So let's do a roll call vote, if you will, Bob.
Bob Manerick.
Linda Brown.
Robert Moran.
Rebecca Lavalley.
Robert Leonardi.
Gordon Larrabee.
Mike Swicker.
Meg Schlesman. Margaret Bacon.
Dan Mascroft.
Ross Smith.
Rich Preston. Thank you. If you could, please take a look at the minutes of 12:18, and we can discuss those.
You have 1 absent member, Mr. Chairman, but I think she'll be joining us
No, I
remotely.
think I'm in.
There she is.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, Carol.
Now, can I hear him? It's going to be long. Hi, Matt.
Carol, we got you.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Great.
My feed may not be that good, so can I say something in case I get pushed off of here by bad internet?
Mr. Chairman?
I'm
The
sorry?
last, just wanted to tell Linda, if you look at the last part of the minutes that she wrote about how many kids are in the school, she's got the numbers reversed, that's all. So when she comes to the minutes, have a look at that, okay?
Yeah, we're doing that now, so it's timely.
Oh,
Thank you, Carol.
okay.
Numbers are reversed.
I actually printed mine out before I left my work. Sure. Are there minutes here?
Oh, I see.
These all the same.
I think you might have a copy in there. Why don't you grab it?
Here you go.
Like the giant font, Linda. Yeah,
Definitely helps.
yeah.
Yes.
Almost don't need glasses, almost.
Mute.
I'm good. Anything else?
Any thoughts, comments, considerations, amendments, other than those that have been proposed?
Item 8, According to Carol, the numbers are reversed. That's the only thing I see. First bullet point, public school attendance.
Well, should we switch the year, since below that, it's in the opposite order from past to present? Just switch the year instead of the number?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where are you? Second bullet?
Yeah, since that one's from past to present,
The dates instead of the numbers.
yeah. We'll swap the dates instead of the numbers to keep it consistent.
2010 to 2024 as well.
Any other amendments, comments, considerations? Do I hear a motion to approve as amended?
I'll make the initial motion to approve as amended by Mr. Benoit. Second.
Motion made by Bob, seconded by Michael. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, those
Aye.
abstaining. The ayes have it. Thank you.
Do a roll call.
We're supposed to do a roll call since we have a Zoom participant.
Okay.
And anybody who wasn't here for these minutes, you'll have to abstain.
All right, so as per form, we have to do a roll call vote. Thanks, Matt, so, Bob.
Bob and Eric, aye.
Linda Brown, aye.
Robert Moran, aye.
Rebecca Lavalley, aye.
Robert Leonardi abstain.
Gordon Larrabee, aye.
Mike Zwicker, aye.
Meg Schlesman, aye. Barbara Bacon, abstain.
Carol Garbalinski, aye.
You're up, Dan.
Dan Mascroft, abstain.
Ross Smith, aye.
Rich Preston, aye. Thank you. So a few things I'd like to chat about. One is, and this is sort of my bi-monthly chat on this, is that this is a large committee. And unlike most committees, master plan does well at being an open discussion, kind of flow of ideas type of committee, as opposed to being very uniform from item to item. What happens quite often, though, is it can devolve. It goes from committee to bus station. So we need to be careful about that. It's one item at a time. Whatever item you want to talk about, that's fine, but it's one issue or item at a time, one person at a time, okay? So we can have clear conversation, and so we can have better, or actually accurate minute taking. It doesn't become confusing. It's only going to get bigger. The committee's going to be up to 15 people, so it's really important that we have a little decorum. Also, it's my responsibility to make sure that, as you know, some people are very verbal, other people are very quiet. My job is to make sure the quiet people have a voice also. So if someone feels like you're not breaking in, just get my attention and I'll recognize you. What I'd like to do tonight, I was going over this with Matt, is that we're at a point where about 25% the way through, or one quarter. So I wanted to talk about where we are, what we've done, and with Emily's help, where we're going. I also wanted to talk about the finances, what we got, what we've spent, and what we've spent it on. So we, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Matt, because there's lots of alphabet soup here, but through Matt's help and with the guidance of CMRPC, we got a grant from EOHLC, right? Or we applied to EOHLC, the Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities. An application was made for a community planning grant, through the Community Planning Grant Program. One too many grants there. We were awarded, through their efforts, $115,000. In addition, the town has funded us an additional $30,000. So we reached out to CMRPC to see where we were. I wanted to know what's been expended, what we're spending our money on, where it's gone, and where we are with that. And as it turns out, I got a copy of the contract, and we're working in quarters, if that's correct, Emily. So I believe we're 1 quarter into it, so we reached out, and I can read verbatim from the letter. I think it's important that you kept up on these things. This is from CMRPC. Trish Settles, Deputy Director, Regional Collaboration and Community Planning. Yikes, that's a big title. Is that also DeBoss? No?
Like second command.
Okay. The Central Mass, so we reached out, and this was the response, an invoice in this letter. The Central Mass Regional Planning Commission, CMRPC, is pleased to submit this invoice for master plan consulting services rendered for the period September 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2024. CMRPC has completed all tasks as required by the contract, including a postcard mailing to all households, survey development and promotion, tabling at the Douglas Oktoberfest, and other outreach tasks, hosting 1 community workshop and participating in 1 to 2 master plan steering committee meetings per month. It has been our pleasure to assist the town of Douglas, and we look forward to continuing our efforts in Phase 2. That would be Phase 2 of 4, I believe. So we received an invoice for $30,000, so you know. I'm not sure if it's going to be $30,000 every quarter, if that's what they're projecting, or it's going to vary depending on staffing and your time and what have you. I was kind of looking for that. I don't know if you or Matt have any idea.
So on our contract with CMRPC, we've got through Phase 1, there's 3 phases. Phase 1 was to take us through November of 2024, and that was the $30,000 that we appropriated in anticipation of getting the grant funds. Grant funds, we just signed a contract for yesterday, so we should be getting that money soon. The next phase is from January to August, and that should be about $50,000. And then Phase 3 is from September to May of 2026, and that's $65,000. Total project cost of $145. So we're right on schedule, which is great. So our next Phase 2 starts now and goes through August 2025.
Okay. I'm curious if there ever was a situation where the committee of the towns have gone over budget, meaning it's really important to me that we stay within budget and that we don't have to procure any more money for this, because to us, that's a sizable sum as is.
Yeah, so with the fiscal year, we have to appropriate a certain amount of funds by June 30th. And then the rest of it to be done by June 30th of 2026. That's the period for the grant.
Okay.
And I estimated 50,000 up till June 30th, but it might go a little longer. We'll see. Maybe we use it, maybe we don't. And then the rest of it for the remaining fiscal year.
Right. According to the calendar, the whole process is just shy of 2 years?
Yes.
Okay. And thank you for correcting me, it's 3 phases. All right. Does anyone have any thoughts or questions on any of this so far? Or concerns?
Just the scope of what is due for deliverables for the money that's coming over each period. You know, if we did the survey for this one phase, you know, as an example, what can we expect between January and August? We already did the survey, that was what we're looking for.
So I can circulate the contract to the new members so you guys have it. I can go right down the line if you'd like. Phase 2 project administration, Phase 2 community outreach, promotion campaign, got to do our vision statement, visioning, stakeholder interviews, focus groups. We're going to be talking about that in a second. Committee, staff level meetings, that's all these. Phase 2 research, data collection and analysis, goals, strategic development, video and still photography, site visits and other field work, mapping, a second workshop, public input, and printing travel software expenses totaling $50,000. There's numbers on it too. But I'll make
Yeah,
sure
and
you
I can
guys
work
get
with Sam
this.
to come up with kind of a more detailed, like, month by month, what would entail these tasks as
Okay.
well, if that's kind of more helpful to like visualize
Yeah.
and expect showing up to the meetings, like what we're going to be talking about, like what the goals are to get out of each meeting. So I can bring that next.
That'd be helpful. I know you provided a schedule early on, but I think it was a sketch, kind of a rough sketch of what we're looking at, but maybe something more detailed would be helpful. All right, thanks. Thanks, Dan. All right, So that sort of covers, Bob, I'm sorry.
I just wanted, I wrote those numbers down, just to
Yep.
confirm I wrote them down correctly. 30,000, 50,000, 65.
Yep.
Phase 1, 2, and 3.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, so that pretty much covers it. We'll talk about budgeting, about scheduling. I think the only thing we need to wrap up on the first phase is the survey, which we're going to close the end of this month. That'll wrap that up. It'll be interesting to see what we have. Will there be a final report, obviously, once you have all the data in from that?
Yeah, I actually came prepared with like kind of a draft version of it, so I'm looking for like comments on that today. Kind of the format, colors, style, everything.
Okay.
We'll talk about that today as well.
Okay, all right, thank you.
All right. On a lighter note, Mr. Chair, I actually did do the survey.
It's about time.
Ross, I wasn't going to ask. Thank you. Really? Yikes.
Have we gotten many more responses?
Yes, we're up to 833.
Because it made the front page on all three of the papers.
Yeah, I did saw that.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yes, I brought that article to the
And-
New Oxford Times.
And above the fold on the Tribune, which is always nice.
Yeah.
Right.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll see if I can get copies of all three of those.
I've actually got them, so
You got it?
I've got digital, so if you want me
You
to,
can forward them to me, that'd
Yeah.
be great.
They have them online, they all have.
Oh, awesome.
Do we know who wrote the articles
Yeah,
for the
I
papers? Was
remember
it one article submitted to all three, or?
It doesn't have them upper.
did you do the press release for him?
All right. If there are further questions, we'll move on. If you could kindly take a look at the Master Plan Committee charge draft. The planning board would ultimately be the one to approve it. They did take a quick look at it at their last meeting, but we thought, Matt thought it'd be a good idea if we run it by you also. which I
I
agree.
think we should look at it
I have that. I think
and prove anything next week.
Okay.
So that's my recommendation.
Sure.
Not like Tony, right?
Yeah, no, this is just our, kind of outlines our entire committee, what we're consist of, what our role is, and the term of the master plan committee.
So did you write this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It says composition, I mean,
Yeah.
is it going to be, I don't know, an exact title?
The composition is the master plan, that's like forming the master plan committee. And then the next one's the recommendation, then the staff consultant role, and the charge of the committee. Those are the categories that we laid out for the stakeholder committee.
Where will it be? Is it just something going to end up on a shelf, or will it be in our new master plan?
This is, so when we create a committee, the committee has to have a responsibility and a task, something that creates its identity with its members and whoever members are part of it. So that's what this charge is. This just kind of helps, it's something we should have done at the beginning,
I see.
so, yeah,
Structure.
there's that, right.
It can be, and I think it would be appropriate that it is part of it.
I second.
Yeah.
And it needs to be dated.
Yep. So the first two paragraphs are, that I wrote, the next 9 sections are straight out of Mass General Law, just the description of each of the chapters. And then the recommendation and the staff consultant and the charge are all items that I wrote as part of our charge. The big thing in here is making sure the planning board's the appointing authority, so folks don't have to jump around to different boards and committees. It also puts a timeline on the committee, and after the completion of the master plan, June of 2026, the committee can dissolve or form the implementation committee out of its existing members, whatever it wants to do.
Well, I had the opportunity to read it before. I was going to suggest that it does become the implementation committee, so
Yeah.
it's not nebulous, you know? You know,
So
Let some clarity.
To become the implementation?
It can be. Last time that wasn't the case, but I think it should be called the implementation committee.
Yeah.
And it can be this committee, and if there are not enough members, we can seek others who may be interested. It would be appropriate for the master plan committee, too.
Hey, Rich, you might be able to answer this.
Could you speak up?
Oh, sorry. Was there an actual master plan committee in 1998? Because according to the town reports, there wasn't.
There was a master plan committee.
Yes, there was.
Okay.
I was on it, Carol was on it,
Just because according to the...
Linda was on it.
Because
Linda was not on it.
On the implementation.
Because according to the town reports, there wasn't, and even in the book, it said, thank you to the people who helped work on it, but it was never an actual committee.
It dissolved.
No.
At that time, the master plan, their purpose was to create the master plan. At that time, it was dissolved, and then an master plan implementation committee was created. And that had different members on it. It had some master plan committee members and others who were not. And that ran for 7 years.
It was just interesting how it was actually, like, in the town reports, it was never actually listed as a committee.
It was, if you look at some of the years before that, I would think.
Might be under the planning board.
No,
Piece.
it wasn't actually listed as a separate committee in the town reports.
Well, it wouldn't have been, it would have been on the planning board, as
Right.
a subcommittee.
Right. And that's how I just put it in our next annual report, is on the planning board.
Okay.
Maybe.
I think it's a good idea to have the implementation committee kind of grow from the master plan committee, simply because you need a certain number of people on the implementation committee that truly understand the intentions of what it is we're trying to accomplish here. You know, you can write it down on a piece of paper, but the spirit of what it is, we're trying to accomplish here, I think needs to be carried on into the implementation team. So I certainly, the implementation committee. So I certainly think that should be part of, I don't know if you want to use the word requirement, but a strong recommendation that at least some of the master plan committee continue on in the implementation committee.
Yeah, I think as before, I think it would be appropriate if anyone on the master plan committee wants to be on the implementation committee, they certainly can, but don't have to. As I recall, one of the problems was the time requirement. As I said, it went on for almost 7 years. It doesn't have to take that long, but it did in that case. So, yeah. But I agree. I think, carrying forward that knowledge and experience would be appropriate.
Have you seen the final report from the implementation committee, how many things we accomplished?
No, from the prior one, no, I did not.
Yes, because Matt can email that to you. And it's not a long document, but there are 87 implementations that were accomplished, and it was definitely.
What happens more often than not, and maybe not surprising, not to sound cynical, but a lot of towns create a master plan that just sits on a shelf. So at the time, we didn't want that to happen. We didn't want it to collect dust. So we had the implementation committee. They spent a lot of time on it. They documented everything that they did. And it was very helpful because going forward, when the town wanted to apply for grants or what have you, including the grant we received from this committee, they said, did you do anything? Can you show us any one thing that you did from the master plan committee? And we just gave them the book and said, this is what we did. So it was very helpful. I think you used it, Bob, to make applications for grants.
I did. How many members on the implementation?
So that's why I put in there, after which a new charge would be created, and we'd have to determine how many members are part of that.
Okay.
Started as 36 and ended as 7.
Faithful 7.
Yeah, there were people on there and some dropped out. And I got to give credit to Paul Peterson, who was the chair most of that time. Very put together a really comprehensive package. Is a very detail-oriented guy. We have him to thank for that report. So we're agreed that we'll come back at our next meeting and finalize our input regarding the charge. Any other further questions or comments
So
on the draft?
the planning board will have a chance to look at this for the second time next week. They are the governing body of this document, so they may approve it at that meeting, after which we will no longer be able to provide comment. So,
Well, thought crossed my mind, but,
yeah.
well, what have you? I mean, I agree that getting the documents tonight is sort of short notice. But I think if what Matt says is true, and that's the case, if we don't put our input now, we may not be able to as a committee.
Right.
I have a question. Very last end. The comment says, after which a new charge will be created and approved by the planning board. What's the new charge?
The new charge would be the roles and responsibilities, the members of the implementation committee, the timeline in which they have to create their implementation, similar to this.
Matt, can the planning board review it at the meeting after next week?
You could?
People would like to take some more time to review it.
Sure, if they want.
There's no timeline associated with it.
No, not really. It's just something we should have done last year.
Yeah, we've been going without one more
Right.
time,
Yeah.
you know?
I'm sorry, Mick, what was your recommendation or comment?
That potentially the planning board could determine to review this at a subsequent meeting, not next week's meeting. If people wanted more time to review it.
Or at least not vote on it at the next meeting. Maybe if they want to review it, maybe they'll have questions or input to it also.
Maybe they'd like to wait till they have input from the master plan committee. All we would make is a recommendation to them, so.
Well, what is your pleasure, committee? What direction shall we go here?
And if I can, to the chair, also, if anything comes up between now and next week, just come to the planning board meeting, bring it up. You know, there's a discussion factor too.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, the planning board's an open meeting, so if anything was really drastic, be addressed at the meeting, and then planning board could say, well, we'll wait, send it back here, and then look at it again, or give a yay or a nay on it.
So you agree it would be a good idea to have the planning board just defer it one more meeting? No, yep, right.
Well, no, if need be.
Yeah.
If something comes up, if there's big questions, and people attend the meeting to raise questions concerning this, then it could get postponed. If nobody shows up, if there's no questions, then the planning board could just vote and make it happen.
Do we foresee any changes to this that need to be updated to present to the planning board?
Yes.
Okay.
I have a technical question for Mr. Benoit, which might be a conflict. Under recommendation, you've got Economic Development Committee. Carol is one of the city members on the committee. I am not. I had to resign to become Director of Economic Development.
Oh, okay. Wasn't sure how that works.
Conflict, or I don't want to create a technical problem.
No, I think you're right. I could adjust that, say the Economic Development Coordinator, and pull that after the committee members, if
Okay.
that works. Okay.
Because that would affect the 12 and 3 makeup. Because the EDC right now is a non-functioning group because there's not enough members.
I could say Economic Development Committee or representative. Does that count?
Am I a representative?
Are you not representing that committee?
And you do have a minimum of one each also, so
Right.
Yeah.
a minimum.
How about, we don't have the historical commission?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, it's on
Did?
here.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Well, think of it, Matt. Could you, if they don't already have one, could you send the new members the PDF of the master plan?
Yep. So
Everything should be in that,
it's all in the SharePoint.
yeah.
There?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I'll send the link out to the new members in case you need it again. Yeah. And it's all on our website, too. So,
Under the business department?
yeah, the community development, there's a side on the left, master plan.
Bob, did I hear you say that the EDC is short on members?
It requires 5 and there's only 2, so there hasn't been a quorum in over, coming up on 2 years probably.
Yeah.
It's been advertised, nobody's filled it.
Okay.
Can I make some pesky grammatical suggestions?
Sure.
I'm an accountant by nature, but I'm an English nerd as well. In the second paragraph where you say such plans shall be a statement through text, maps, illustrations, or other forms of communication, I think that should be and/or other forms of communication, so this way it doesn't presume to be just one form. It could be multiple forms of communication.
Where are you, sir?
Third line, where the sentence starts with, such plan shall be a statement through
Oh.
text, maps,
It's
illustrations.
straight out of Mass General Law.
Really?
Just pulled the language directly from it.
Because I would think and/or would be more appropriate, so this way it gives you, that it could be multiple forms, not just, predicated on one.
Okay.
But, that's,
You're referencing MGL.
Yeah.
Can't change it if you...
Yeah.
okay.
Are we required by the grant to finish by the 2 years?
Yes.
I would make that a little bit more clear if possible.
Where are
Okay.
you? First page?
No, second page, third paragraph from the bottom.
There's 2 fiscal years to complete expenses.
I would just be like per the grant or something along those lines. There,
Committee has 2 fiscal years to complete expenses for the grant. Is that not?
I wasn't 100%, when I read it at first, I wasn't 100% sure that that was the grant, that it was per the grant rules.
Okay.
In accordance with the terms of the grant or something.
Yeah, I would just make it a little bit
Okay.
clearer.
Okay.
And one other thing that I was going to mention, on the second page, second paragraph, you make reference to planning board a couple of times. The
Yeah.
P and the B, they're capitalized on the first page, planning and board.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, to be consistent, just, again, I'm a nerd.
It's all right. It's also pulled from
Really?
general law, so I'll
Then leave it be.
I can
If
change
it's
it.
straight from the Mass General Law, then leave it be.
That's all right. I can,
Maybe the ones that are pulled from the Mass General Law indent
yeah.
the whole thing, so we know that that section is fully from that.
So everything on the first page, except for the first 2 sentences, is MGL. And that ends on the second page, right before recommendation.
In the third paragraph on the second page, it says recommendations. It says, I recommend. Who is I?
Huh, good question.
Who are you?
Sorry, this was language from the town administrator, so
Oh,
it's
okay.
actually coming from me.
So what would we put there?
It is recommended.
Recommended.
Yep,
It is recommended.
It is recommended.
Plus then
okay.
somebody else may-
Yeah, it happens again a little later. It is. Okay,
Fourth sentence too,
Yep.
I recommend.
got it.
It is also recommended.
Okay,
Question on the last paragraph.
sure.
I have some recommendations, but the last part there, after which a new charge will be created and approved by the planning board. Should the charge be created prior so that it's there before the committee's created?
I mean,
You take the word "and," just put "then." A new charge will be created, then approved by the planning board.
I had scratched it altogether.
new charge approved by the planning board. Doesn't say that it'll have to be created after, so this way it could be created in advance.
It's something that maybe prior to dissolving, the master plan committee can work on and with the planning board prior. I don't know if after the fact.
Yeah, you want
It's
them
helpful.
to create the new charge prior to the development.
That's right, I think.
Okay.
And if you want to reflect previous comments, I was going to suggest that if we do want the master plan committee to become the implementation committee, we should just spell it out here and say, upon completion, and I added, and approval of the master plan by the planning board, the committee shall become the master plan implementation committee with its existing members.
Okay.
Would the existing members need to vote in the rest of the members? We have to all agree.
You mean other members? That would be a planning board function. So like, as what we do here, when short, we solicit people to come, and then when you go through that process application, and then we submit it to the planning board. So the planning board would be the appointing authority, but the implementation committee would probably be the one that would sort of look for additional members if necessary and start that process. Since we're digging in, any other?
So how does this last paragraph read? Upon completion and approval by planning board of the master plan, the committee shall become the master plan implementation committee.
I put a period after with its existing members if we're
With its
going to do the
existing
charge
members.
prior. So I wrote,
I got you. Upon completion of the master plan,
and
the committee can create a new charge and become the master plan implementation committee with its existing members.
yeah, I added upon completion and approval of the master plan by the planning board. That's an important step. And I believe it has to go to town meeting, at least last time it did. You aware of that, Matt? It had to be approved at town meeting, too.
I don't think it does, but,
Well, we presented it, and it was
Okay.
last time.
okay,
Was done at approved at town meeting.
Yes, yeah, thank you.
okay,
It's in the final report.
all right.
Made the report?
Yes.
Oh, no.
At 98, all town meeting.
It was a book like this, and not one question from the audience. Those are the warrant articles you want. See, if you go to town meeting and you have, how much was the budget, Ross, last time? A gazillion million?
About that.
So you have a gazillion million for the annual budget, no questions. But if you come up with something small after that, I know the fire department wanted to move some money to get a piece of equipment, and they just pounced.
Oh, yeah.
I've heard of something appealing, something appalling, something for everyone town meeting tonight. So, but I think it's how you present it. You scare them off.
All right. So upon completion and approval of the master plan by the planning board and town meeting, the committee can create a new charge for the implementation, can create a new charge and become the implementation committee. Like that? Okay. With its existing members.
Shall create and become?
Create a new charge and become.
Oh, just become.
Okay. And we just make the charge in the background. I just,
Completion of the master plan and the new charge, so all that needs to be created prior to the conversion, right?
and creation of new charge. I mean, there's going to be some time between the completion of the master plan and the vote at town meeting.
Yes.
There's going to be time to create the charge. Good. So I'll get this typed up nice.
And just in the third from the bottom paragraph, just double check the capitalization. There's some, like, central mass, the mass is lowercase.
Yep.
Just go through the paragraph.
Gotcha.
There's quite a few of them in there.
Yeah, master plan, paragraph, M should be capitalized.
Oh, gotcha.
quick typing.
Yep. Okay.
Nerd friend over there.
Huh?
So you're going
From
to
a
have
nerd
this
friend over there.
amendment,
The grammar corner.
Matt, you're going to have these amendments before these planning board?
Yep, yep.
Is that something you could also CC? the
Oh, yeah,
committee on?
absolutely. Absolutely.
Through the chair. Matt, would you consider, under the charge of the committee, stating in 2024 that the town of Douglas applied for and received a community, because it almost runs into the line above?
Okay, yeah, sure.
And there's just a typo under the Central Mass Regional Planning Commission has been awarded.
Wow, gotcha.
Oh, okay. I'd seen that one too, and I forgot to mark that one.
Okay,
You get
Got
the
it.
capital M on CMRPC.
yep. Okay, very helpful.
Any other input? Are we satisfied as a committee that this is our input regarding the charge? Or do you feel you need more time?
I think it's pretty
I
good.
have a question on the extension maybe requested at that time. An extension to whom and from us to who? Last line of that third paragraph.
We can request an extension of the grant. It's possible. I don't know if we're going to get it, but it's something that we can ask for.
Does that mean if we don't use all the money so that we could continue to use the fund?
Right.
Grants are extended.
Yeah, it's,
Ask for
Right.
extension, we get two contracts.
there's no guarantee about it, so I just kept it kind of vague.
Yeah, in the contract, it looks like there's a mechanism to do that.
Yep. And CMRPC is working on their contract to coincide with the grant money. Because this one's officially over, so.
Would it be better than to put, an extension of the grant
Yes.
may be requested at this time, at that time, if needed?
Sure.
I think that helps cover it.
Okay. Okay.
Any other questions, comments, considerations, amendments?
Well, Mr. Chair, given that most of this is from Mass General laws, and that we've gone around a few times, I would trust Matt to update this and present this. Do we want to present it at the planning board for
Can you make a
vote?
motion tonight?
Yeah,
Yeah, we can make a motion and move it on
I'll make that motion to recommend this with the updates that we've,
as amended.
Yeah, as
Okay,
amended.
thanks, Bob. So motion made by Bob,
I'll second it.
seconded by the new guy.
Rob. Bob and Rob, that makes it nice and easy, right?
Robert, thank you. Any further discussion?
Will we have an opportunity to review all these edits?
I'll send it out tomorrow.
Email it.
I'll send it out tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay.
And then it could also, through the chair, be amended at the planning board meeting.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So always remember, next week, it could be altered again. We're just accepting it here
Yep.
to go there, and then there, it can also have the same roundtable discussion.
Right.
Better product.
You meet on Monday?
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
7, not 5.
So we have a motion and a second on the table. Any further discussion? It's a roll call vote.
Bob and Eric, aye.
Linda Brown, aye.
Bob Moran, aye.
Rebecca LaValle, aye.
Robert Leonardi, aye.
Mike Zwicker, right?
Meg Schlesman, aye.
Margaret Bacon, aye.
Dan Masco, aye.
Carol?
Carol Godowinski, aye.
Smith, aye.
Preston, aye. Motion passes. All those opposed, those abstaining, the ayes have it. Thank you. Quite a bit there. So, I believe now we can pass the baton to Emily, who has a front row seat to the show. And we have Sam
Yeah.
on
Sam's
Zoom.
joined us.
Hey, Sam, how are you?
Hi, how's it going?
Good. So far, so good.
So I guess if it's okay, I can just review. So like I said, survey update, it's still out for another, I think, 2 weeks until the 31st. So again, just a reminder to promote it, last chance for people to take it if they haven't already. Hopefully everyone here has taken it. And we are up to 833 responses, which is awesome. We were, I don't even know, like 750 or so at the last meeting, maybe less than that. So we did a push on Facebook, paid like $50 out of the budget, which honestly was well worth it, just to do like a promotion. So it kind of shows up in people's news feeds. And we had it available in 3 local newspaper articles. I don't know if anyone had kind of posted on local like Facebook sites, but it's really, the word is getting out there. So I'm really pleased with the results, and we should all be. So let's try to get this kind of final push. So,
Emily made it to the front page.
yeah, 3 different ones. So I'm just gonna pass around, and you want to take one and kind of pass it down. These are like kind of a draft of what the summarized survey results will look like, because we want to kind of push this out to the community. Thank you people for taking the survey, and I'm sure everyone was kind of curious what the results are. So this is the format that I've done for other surveys as well, so I'm just curious on people's feedback, if there's any kind of formatting things I could change, anything that really any feedback at all. And then, yeah, by the next meeting, I will have like a final version, I guess, of this ready to go, and we can put it out to the community, post it online, have paper copies maybe available at the library and town hall. Hopefully I did enough copies. This is a bigger group than I was. Oh, wait, let me share online for Carol. All right.
I think we all got it. Thank you.
All right, so as you can see, basically the first page will have the total number of responses. We'll have when the survey was open, a little summary of the master plan. Let's see, yeah, and just kind of summary of the survey, and just a quick thank you to those who took the survey. Here, I'm just going to scroll through online for folks. But yeah, you guys can just feel free to go through if there's anything that stands out to you that you want to bring up. So we kind of start out, yeah, with like the demographics questions. It didn't necessarily kind of go in the order of the survey, because some of these demographics were actually questions that came at the end of the survey, but it felt more natural to like have an introduction to who took the survey and then kind of get into the results.
I think since it's such a high percentage of the annual household income, in 150 or over, it might be another tier there, 150 or 250, maybe 250 and over.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I think this, I just took it so it would align with how the US Census breaks it down, because I think they only go up to 150 and then have it go over.
Inflation's quick these days.
I had a recommendation on the first page, Emily. Just at the second sentence, for the next 10 to 20 years, wouldn't it be a little more clarity, just write 20? It is a 20-year
Sure.
plan.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Emily, did we have a question about whether or not children are going to private school or schools in other towns due to school choice?
No, we didn't break it down. Okay. But we just asked if you currently have children enrolled in Douglas Public Schools. So I guess they could have children, but they're not enrolled. They'd be in private school. Yeah.
The final one, I've got a lot of like cutoff on the borders.
Oh, okay. Good call.
the 150 and over, I've got 3.6, and I think that's the 9, but I don't have the full number.
It's a percentage.
Yeah, percentage.
He's talking about page 2.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, that's
right, so-
yeah, that actually looks like a 9 to me. It's a percent, yeah.
On the third page, and more than 20.
Got it. All right, cool. So I will double check that before I do a mass printing of this.
Yeah, go for it.
I think there's a function, you print the page to print the margins as opposed to page margins.
Yeah, something like that. Okay.
It's not on all of them, just every now and then I'm like
Yeah.
catching one.
I'm just curious, related to other master plans with other towns, from an age and income demographic, how do we kind of fit in? Are we similar to other towns in that regard from an age and income demographic?
Do you mean like the town overall or those who took the survey?
So in other words, like, is a similar survey done by other towns with their master plans? And if so, how do we fit in as far as from a demographics perspective? You know, how do we compare to other towns in the area? Because I'm not looking at like, you know, by Boston or something, because that would be totally different. But in Worcester County, if there were other surveys done by other towns, how is our demographic kind of fit in with theirs? In other words, are we an older demographic? Are we, you know, a more wealthy demographic? Because I think that would also impact some of what, you know, potentially people are looking for in the town as well.
I don't have an answer to that right off the bat. I have to go back and look at some of the other master plans that we've done.
I think it usually, if we have a lot of survey responses like we do here, it generally aligns with the actual age and demographics of the town. But I would say, like, I'm not sure exactly how Douglas looks on the census, but I mean, there is a wealthier population here relative to other towns in the region. So, like, the huge portion of the pool of respondents that's 150K and over kind of aligns with that. But I like, there is a specific census block that I was trying to get more responses from to sort of reduce that skew. I actually dropped off surveys at a church that was in the census block that's lower income, to try to get more responses from there. But having 36% and then like the next highest one be 18% is kind of a little bit disappointingly significant. So.
Thank you.
On the very first response back, if you remember, we had the actual printout of what people really said. Will we be getting a final one of those?
Oh, yeah, so for this committee, I'll
Because that was
definitely-
good.
I'll print out the like full results, which is like
There's a lot.
70-page document. It's a lot.
Yeah.
So this is kind of more in terms of like getting it out to the community.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. So you'll see, like, I do include some of the like written responses.
Yes, I saw that.
But those are kinds of things that I just kind of pick and chose and tried to show a whole spectrum of
Does the size of the comments have anything to do with the amount of times the comments were said?
Yeah, I mean, it's not exact science, but yes, the
Okay.
ones that are bolded are ones that I saw multiple times.
Okay, that's kind of what I originally assumed. I just wanted to double check.
And totally understandable, because some of the comments you don't want to put out in this flyer. But yeah, it's one of those deals where if it's written in there, which is fine, I mean, it's a public
Yeah.
thing, it would be nice at least to see exactly
Definitely,
feelings.
yeah.
All right.
So at the February meeting, I'll bring copies for everyone.
Sweet,
And
that'd
we
be
can also
great.
email them as well, but that'll be like a much larger comprehensive document.
Because the first night you passed that out, there was a lot of stuff we're all
A lot of
looking
good
at.
stuff, yeah.
Really getting a taste of what people were really feeling.
I just love how different, like, more farms, but I want more things.
Surprised auto mechanics is so low. Do we have a good mechanic in town already or not?
Emily, I'm curious on this page, how did you pick the ones that are larger and more bold? Is it just like kind of random, or were they ones that were like kind of repeated a lot?
Yeah, we can
And does
talk-
the program measure that, or did you just kind of look through them and see that?
Yeah, so things that kind of showed up multiple times, we put them into bold.
Okay.
I may be jumping ahead a bit, and I apologize. Looking over the December meeting minutes in item number 7, it said that there would be a survey given out to students.
Yes, yeah, that's the next thing we want to talk about as well.
Okay, then I'll wait. I'll wait to make my comment then.
2 pages of facility comments. People have thoughts.
Flashing traffic lights, no traffic lights ever.
Like I said, the fighting comments are. Like the Jets and the Sharks on paper.
So Emily, what are you looking for from us on this?
Just any comments? I just figured to give you a chance, if there's anything you like or dislike about kind of the formatting and everything. This is what's going to be kind of put out to the community, so I just want to get your kind of okay with it.
I think it's terrific.
Nobody said anything
I
yet.
think the comments are great. I think you have a tendency, the statistics are good, but you have a tendency to gravitate to the comments.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
That's what I'm doing.
you know.
Great, yeah, so.
I'm not sure if possible, I don't know if it would take away from the comments, but if like a picture of maybe a location in town could be thrown, like cultural and historic resource, maybe put a picture of something, just
Instead of like
the quotations, yeah, just maybe something to make it Douglas.
Yeah.
Because right now it's facts and words, but if you could show some visual representation of town, that might also make it grabbing to people.
The gazebo,
Yeah.
common.
Just a
Folks agree that would add to it?
Just a thought, I don't want to take away from the comments, because the comments are great, but just something also to be a little grab.
but like where the quotes are.
There's a quote of businesses downtown becoming more beautiful. So you can take an ugly one.
If there's any pictures of broken sidewalks or something, roads, potholes.
See, biggest stat on the land use would be the new commercial, but then the comment right over here says no more massive warehouses.
If you put any picture, you're potentially alienating somebody who might look at this and lean in and engage. Because you're right, you put the ugly building on, the guy who owns the ugly building is now pissed at the town.
But if you keep it to stuff like the gazebo, or more like just some of the sites that are Douglas, just to make it a little,
You can find a pretty building, too.
just to kind of draw in like, because,
The public spaces
yeah.
are not in any way controversial, I would think. Well,
The library can be
Rethink that,
very
yeah.
controversial.
On page 17,
Yeah, I was just going there.
on the left-hand side, you have the same quote twice.
Okay, good catch. I was wondering if anyone was going to catch
I was just getting ready to say that.
Yep, yep.
Yeah,
I don't even have a page.
no,
yeah,
It's,
they're in the bottom corner over here.
In the bottom right-hand,
that's
bottom right-hand
16
corner,
and
it's the
17,
page, yeah.
number and kind of.
Transportation,
16, 18.
That is a personal decision to have EV. That whole quote is doubled.
Okay, cool.
Where is it?
I got 16 before 17.
16 is after
Right here and
seven.
here.
I got
Yeah, it is.
18 to 16.
Yeah.
12, 13,
Your
17.
page number needs to be
Yeah.
16, 17.
Okay.
16.
Go to the 14, 15.
I got it.
It's here.
Try it again.
Found it?
Got it.
And also on 16, you don't have the word comments
6, 7.
right above the thing
Yep.
where you did on the others, and same for the cultural and historic resources, envisioning. I think if you're going to do the comments,
Yeah.
do it throughout all of it or get rid of it.
Yeah.
Either or works, just keep it consistent.
Take it rid of it.
Get rid of it?
18. So which one is it?
No, I'd keep it comment.
But I would do it just throughout on every.
Yeah.
Or you could put public comment.
Right, like this isn't coming from the committee. This is coming from the people who
Right.
took the survey.
I guess.
Whether it matters or it don't, page 17 and 16 are reversed. Yeah. You said it.
It's visioning comments up here.
Yeah, I think it was an important point, Emily, that the comments are coming from the
Yeah.
public residents, yeah.
It's on each of them.
Like, underneath, like you said, like on the visioning, you said, what would an ideal Douglas 20 years from now look like to you? And you could just even put like, the public says, and then have what the comments are. You could put it right under there rather than trying to fit it in the title bar.
Right, yeah.
'Cause some of
Report
those-
to your neighbors.
Yeah, because it's like cultural and historic resources comments, and then trying to fit public, that'll get like really crowded, but you could maybe fit it as part of like the sub under. Does that-
Smaller letter.
Yeah,
According to your neighbors, ... I think covers it all though, right? It's simple.
you and your neighbor can now have a lively discussion. Here you go.
A lot of people knocking on doors.
Yeah.
You said what?
Was that you? Yeah.
What's the old expression, fences make good neighbors?
Emily, is there an extra copy?
Yeah.
I want to give it to Carol.
Take this one. Oh, I did scratch out 10 on that.
That's the only thing you want.
That's it. So I think what this really illustrates is the work that the committee has cut out for it, because when you have this kind of diversity in comment and commentary, the question is, where do you come down on how did you go about a final decision, whether it's zoning or any of the other 6 categories? Because you're not going to please everybody. That's why I find them fascinating, but there are contrasting points of view. You're not going to make everybody happy, I'm afraid.
When we see the final results, are we able to see, like, where the results are, like, are we able to see the results coming from, like, one person, or are they just completely separated? I guess I'm kind of wondering, like, is the person who says, I don't want the town to change at all, also the same person that's saying, I want a grocery store?
You won't know.
They're not.
Because the printout we had in the beginning, it's just a general layout of what's what.
Okay.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
Under the different
Yeah.
categories.
On our, like, we have kind of access to that, not seeing like what the person's IP address or.
Oh, yeah, no, I didn't mean that. I just
But
kind
we
of,
can break it down based on, yeah. And we can, that's a good point too, is if you're interested in kind of like seeing results that are filtered, so for example, everyone who answered, I don't know, they have an income higher than 150,000 or over, how do they tend to answer questions versus those who have a lower income? We can also filter it like that. So if you're going through these results and you're kind of curious, like if there's certain trends, just let us know, and we can run that on our end.
because I just remember from the round table, like, there was a lot of people who would say one thing, and then by the time they got, like I said, to the historic table, they're like, I like things just the way they are. But then you went ahead and you looked at everybody's responses on all the other things, and they wanted changes everywhere. But, well, if you want changes everywhere, then why are you coming to me saying, nope, I like everything just how it is? That doesn't work that way. So I just kind of wondered if, like, those were some of the responses.
I think we have a decent enough sample size with 800 plus, maybe 900 by the time we finish. Kind of filter, have it open source in any way, so we can run our own, satisfy our own curiosity with the different filters. I don't know if that's possible.
Yeah.
But all the comments are, like your, how much your income is. There wouldn't have been any comments of that. There would have only been like economic development, population and housing, what you want to see.
Yeah, a lot of them had like an option for like, if there was other, they could add, that they could write in their own. So most of them, because I remember when we were creating the survey, we wanted to have a lot of options for people to write their own, stories and, yeah.
And
reasoning.
400 comments, many pages in the first one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have.
I can see the next one being 70 pages. But I'd love to see them all.
Yeah. But it's great. It gives us a lot to go off of as we're creating like the goals and the strategies, kind of shifting into that, the vision statement. Yeah. Awesome. Anything else with this, or I have other things for us to review, so.
I like that. Yeah, thank you.
Cool. My next set of things to talk about is, yeah, we talked, let me see. Yes, about doing a student survey. So I came up with a draft for that one, and just curious on your thoughts about the structure of it, if there's any questions we left out, or if it's too many questions, we're not going to grasp the attention of students. So yeah, so basically the goal for this would be we're gonna, once we kind of get it approved here, get the okay from the committee, I'm gonna reach out to the superintendent or the principal, probably the superintendent first, just to get their okay. Pass the survey along. After asked about ways we can get in contact with like the classes or the best way to kind of go about this. Whether it's, yeah, they hand it out in classes or if there's a school newsletter, something like that. So I think that'll really fill in, because if you look at the second page of the number of people under 18 who took it, it's less than 1%. So we really want to get the feedback of people who are like the future of the town. Because their ideas and what they want might be totally different from, you know, the baby boomer, kind of older populations or people who have kids. So I really want to get that representation. So take a look at the survey. Did a very quick intro. Again, I was really trying to keep this as short as possible.
So with the intro, shouldn't it say 20 years?
Oh yeah, probably.
Can those kids even think in that big of a span? Like 20 years to them must seem
I know,
like
that's
so.
maybe that's why I wrote 10. I was like, 20 is hard
They
to.
might end up living here.
No, but just like being that young, like thinking like 20.
Could be so old.
Yeah, well, like,
On the, if you could, on the number 3, you might want to make a bigger box.
Oh yeah.
Because a lot of
So
students have multiple
Definitely.
sports, and they might be afraid to go outside the box. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So
for
make
this,
it
I
a
don't know
larger
why-
area if you could,
Yeah, definitely. I think I'll. When
or eliminate it, or have right below, or something.
no, we'll
I
definitely make
think
sure.
they're all going to be
plenty of-
probably given the survey online, right?
That too, yeah, we'll work with the superintendent to see what the best way is, but we'll definitely make sure when we have free copies that there's plenty of room for them to list off. This is just the way SurveyMonkey like exports it, and it's annoying, but yeah, we'll definitely make sure. So this will probably end up being like more like,
You have a category for
6 pages, yeah.
dinosaurs in there? I remember there were a lot of dinosaur requests from.
For question number 8, it was actually something I had written down when I had read the meeting minutes from December. The way I had written it was asking kids if they planned to stay in Douglas post-graduation. As you get older, I just think it's too vague.
yeah.
But, you know, post-graduation, you know, immediately after you plan to stay in the area. And as you said, you know, that if not why, make that box bigger, because there's just, you know, there's just not enough room there to answer if not why. But I just think post-graduation is better than as you get older.
Well, high school graduation, maybe they'll be going away from college before you're coming back too. So it might confuse them in that way too.
After your education.
After final education.
Yeah, after you finalize your education, yeah, maybe that would even be better, yes.
Which would either be high school
Or college, depending upon, you know, their career path, whatever.
Yeah, okay, I like that.
Yeah.
Sorry, Emily, did we talk about what grades this is going to be?
I was
The
thinking
target
middle
audience?
and high school, so
Okay.
6 through 12.
Okay.
So this is kind of off subject a little bit, but on a lot of your documents, you call us the Master Plan Steering Committee. Should I put that into our charge, to call us the Master Plan Steering Committee?
No. I think the steering committee, the steering, I mean, just we are the master plan.
Yeah,
committee.
I would have
Okay.
to agree, yeah.
Okay, just wanted to ask.
Master
Okay.
Plan Committee.
Oh, I thought you were kidding.
No, I'm serious.
No, because it's even there in like question number 9, it says Master Plan Steering Committee.
Right.
Yeah.
Subcommunities must call it that, I
A
guess.
lot of ours do steering
Yeah.
committee, that's why I stuck with steering.
We like to keep it nebulous. Yes,
All right.
I agree.
on 4, do we care that athletic fields and parks are duplicated, like Soldiers Field is on there twice?
What would it best be under?
I mean, it kind of goes as both. I just didn't know if it mattered that it was on there.
Guess it's okay, because some might go for, there's a playground, right?
Well, Soldiers Field is really just a ball field.
Just the ball
Oh, it is,
field.
okay.
Yeah.
So let's take it out of maybe open space.
And Martin Road Park. Oh, no, they have a little playground.
They've got the playground and then they've got the ball field. Yeah, they've got the ball field there as well.
Any other examples that would be better?
I said some of them can fit as both, but, I mean, they're just as examples. I didn't know if you wanted to have duplicate examples, because I didn't know if it would throw the kids off.
Right, it might be confusing.
Martin Road might be the athletics.
Athletic fields, you can include the Veterans Field behind the old Center School, VFW, next to the cemetery, however we want to call it. I'm not getting between you and Shirley. I'll let you two fight that one out.
Number 5, Emily? Are there any places in Douglas that you feel unsafe? I was going to say municipal center, but I won't. When you were walking or riding.
Depends what level you're on.
That's right. Are there any places in Douglas, excuse me, that feel unsafe when you're walking or riding a bicycle, for example, because it is too dark, or there are no sidewalks?
Yeah.
Or you could, instead of saying unsafe, first thing I brought when I read that was like it's a bad section of town.
Yeah, that's what I
Or
thought.
it should be hazardous or, right?
I don't know,
Feel-
I'm talking to kids, so
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
unsafe is,
unsafe
mean a lot
kids
of
might
things.
predators, conditions of the road.
well, you could get all sorts of answers out of this. They could walk by a scary house that they see regularly that's unoccupied,
Yeah.
that they
Yeah.
call a haunted house, that we don't even know that they call it that. We could get all sorts of
Put
stuff.
that as part of that final sentence, or
Or haunted house?
Favorite haunted house in town.
Yeah, we learned one of those in Auburn, that there was an old house that had been kind of fallen down, and all the kids walked by and they made up their own stories about it.
Yeah.
It's like, you never know what you're gonna learn.
How about a question about what's your favorite thing about Douglas? Or favorite place to go, favorite thing to do in town?
What do you like most? Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, we could have that kind of a,
But I do like the unsafe one. I think that's an interesting
Yeah.
question.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
that one too.
Dangerous could be fun for a little.
Well, I was just going to say, these are kids. They don't really have danger meters.
Broken glass on the railroad tracks. Favorite thing to do.
When someone from another town
Oh, yeah, I
asks
agree.
you about living in Douglas, what do you say is your favorite part of it, something like that? If you tell people, if you tell someone you're from Douglas and they ask you what's your favorite part of living in Douglas, what do you say? I don't know how to make a question out of that.
Well, that could be
if
one
you
of the
were to be
questions.
asked-
What is your favorite part?
From someone outside.
What about what if we ask about, what's something you like about a surrounding town?
Right.
You know, like, what's something you like about, like, what does Whitensville have? Do you know what I mean? Like, is there something from a surrounding town that they have that you really like, that you wish we had?
Cool.
We'll be the children. That other
But I mean, that might be something like, because I'm sure, like, especially if they do school choice or something, they visit the other towns, and there's something in those towns that they like, and they're like, I wish we had this in town. Might be a good question to,
If we're too specific, it might lead them. I think when you leave them open, it opens it up to creativity.
What is your favorite part of living in Douglas?
I like that.
That's simple.
But I liked someone said before a favorite place too, so I was thinking like, do you have a favorite place and or favorite aspect of living in Douglas?
Thing to do, favorite thing to do, favorite place to go.
Like combining those two just to save space, and also I think if you separated them, like what's your favorite place and then what's your favorite aspect, people would like kind of feel like it's repeating but then together it helps distinguish it. I don't know.
I also don't know if it matters, but I wonder, like, kids, the shorter the better.
Oh, yeah. The attention.
Yeah.
The shorter what? The shorter the question or the shorter the answer?
The shorter in general.
The survey.
I mean, it's tough to get kids to elaborate on anything these days, so I don't
Yeah.
encourage shortening anything on the answers.
No, but I just mean, like, I feel like we don't want to have too many questions either,
The
because,
shorter the survey.
because like,
More questions, they probably think it's more of a test.
and then, like, by the time they get to the end, they're like, don't care, whatever. So maybe the questions we want to know that we really want the answers for, move maybe closer to the front.
True.
Like, maybe like the current grade, how long you've lived in Douglas, and question 4, maybe put those at the bottom of the survey? Because,
Because they're easy.
huh?
They're easy questions.
They're easy. Let them do the ones where they actually have to think, and then, okay, it's at the end, oh, I just have to answer this, easy, quick, quick, quick.
But on the other hand, if you start off easy, they think, I'm going to breeze through this thing. Psychologically, hit them with a hard question. I got to do more than 9 of these?
You also get a demographic. You get the first ones answered out, at least you know what grade level and all that. You need that, if they don't finish it all, that's fine.
Yeah.
But at least you're getting an idea of what and who you're dealing with in the survey, which is, I think, priority 1. That's the main thing.
And I think their attention right off.
There.
And I think question 7 kind of addresses what you were talking about, where it says, what you feel the town needs but does not currently have. I think that incorporates some of what you're, what you're looking for as far as feedback from the kids.
Yeah.
So I think that's general enough that they could, be a little creative, hopefully, with a response.
Because someone could write down, need a skating rink like Worcester has. Good thing go skating up there. So you don't know, but it leaves it open. You're not specifically naming a town or anything like that. You just leave it open.
I do like the what's something you think about a surrounding town that you wish we had, because that kind of frames it in a way that might be a bit easier for them to grasp onto. But at the same time, then you're also excluding the more generalized, what's something else that you think the town might need. So maybe you could just have what's something you like about surrounding town as like the first part of the question, and then like have a second sentence that's just like asking, is there anything else that you'd like to add or that you think the town needs? So like, combine them into one question to make it feel like you're not asking 2 separate things.
Or it can just be a statement, like we say, feel free to be creative. We could also add, think about what you like when you visit other towns.
Yeah. Well, the challenge with that is most other towns are bigger than Douglas. So if someone's going to go to Milford and talk about bowling alleys and skating rinks, if you put one of those in Douglas, it probably wouldn't survive.
Hey, we had both in town once upon a time.
We had skating.
But they
rink,
didn't survive.
Yes.
roller
Key
skating.
point.
Not ice skating.
They weren't supported.
Yeah, but when we're talking about like the master plan, we're talking about a lot of different changes that could all contribute to an overall economic development of the town. So unless we think that we wouldn't like to see a future where there is a skating rink because there's enough demand for one, I wouldn't think about like what the town currently looks like now as a reason to inhibit future economic development possibilities.
I suppose. I mean, there's a bowling alley in Whitensville that almost nobody knows about. Probably, but
Right on Main Street.
yeah, exactly.
Church Street.
Church Street, Main Street. Right up from the back.
The last part of question 9, please add your comments here. I don't think kids like reading stuff like that. I would say rephrase it to say something like, we want your opinion,
Yeah, or just have a totally different
We
comment.
want to hear from you.
Please give us your input. Or something to that effect.
I'd like to give their opinion.
Please
Yeah.
write your,
Yeah, opinion. That's
We want to hear from you. Your
Do
opinion
you
counts.
have-
Your opinion matters.
Yes.
Do you have any other thoughts? And get rid of, please add your comments.
next question I would have is middle school too young to be asking? Or, and, you know, should it just be high school, or, I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. Is middle school, you know, kids 6th, 7th, and 8th grade,
I think the range is good. I remember being in 7th and 8th grade, you know, junior high, you kind of, you know, you're active, you got things going on in town, your
I think it's
brain
also,
is you know, still a sponge, so to speak, but you still, you want to see things, you know?
I think it's also important to give these kids a sense of civic, like, responsibility. We're asking them to be involved in the town. We're asking them to have a voice.
okay.
Yeah, it's in the introduction. We'd love to hear from you.
And I think that can help inform how we present it to the superintendent, too. This is an exercise in civics that these kids now have an opportunity to participate in.
And we may get a bunch of Disney World answers, but
Disney
You're out of the
done.
car.
Yeah.
started somewhere.
Nothing wrong with the mouse.
We're going to weigh the answers from high school a little more heavily than you are the 5th and 6th graders, I think.
Yes.
It would still be anonymous, wouldn't it?
But the-
Or would you-
We can filter it by
correlate,
degree.
yeah.
Is this thought factor on this something that's going to go home with the students, especially in the junior high school grades? To go home with them to help their parents, help them fill it out? Or what's the intent? What's your purpose behind it? Is this something that you're going to have them do right in school? Or something to go home with?
I like the idea of it being an assignment in school, so they actually do it instead of bring it home, oh, I don't want to do this, it's optional.
I also,
Or parents' answers.
I like the idea of it being in school because it's their thoughts and it's not somebody else's thoughts.
Well, that's what I mean, it's something to think about. If you're presenting it to, on what aspect you're going to be doing it as, you know?
Goes home to be on the floor of the bus.
And because the other aspect is, does parents want their kids filling this out or not?
Right.
So
Does
it's
the
something that we
parent
need to
tell them
really,
what to put on?
really need to think about how this is gonna go down before you just walk in there and say, "Hey, we have a survey."
Any other input on this document for Emily? I'm sorry, you say something.
No, yeah, that's just, I think, a conversation I'm going to have with the superintendent, get
Yeah.
they know the kids better, so.
Yeah, I think we want them to do it in school. Is the consensus, right?
Yeah.
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 Whatever they get. I think we're going to get some unique responses.
Yeah.
Different demographic.
I'll be creative.
We'll get real responses.
Yeah.
Another meeting?
Do you have anything else you want to share, Emily? or-
I did, if we have, like, do we have 10 minutes? 5 minutes?
For you.
Sorry, one more thing. So we had talked last time about doing like the mobile workshops also at the adult social center and the, like an existing group at the high school. So really just a time to sit down with these kind of 2 different age groups for like an hour and like kind of dig deep into like what a master plan is, what their priorities are. So Sam and I had kind of come up with just an activity. So I just wanted your feedback on this activity and like the structure of it. And then this isn't something that we'll need necessarily like your time from. This is going to be CMRPC, Sam and I, and probably an intern will like conduct this and do everything. So it's just, I think it'll be a really kind of informative and good like step between the survey results and the workshop that we did, and then moving forward into when we're developing a vision statement and goals and priorities, and just seeing kind of what might be a priority, you know, for the older folks in town versus the high school. So.
Save one for yourself.
That was like what I'm going to talk about. So we're trying to have these held in February. And the way we structured it was well, I'm ahead of myself. So basically, yeah, we'll take 5 minutes to summarize what is a master plan, why is it important. We want to
Emily.
What's that?
Could you pull up a copy for Carol?
Yes.
Thank you.
Sorry, wrong.
No problem.
There's an extra.
There we go. Okay,
I'll take the extra one then.
yeah, that's an extra. Okay. All right, so we're
So
thinking.
just to go down to the agenda page.
Yeah, there we go. Okay,
There you
so
go.
basically the structure of this would be, yeah, we introduce the master plan, we have an icebreaker question, just to get people kind of talking and kind of a way to do introductions, get to know the people who are in attendance. So we're thinking, what is your favorite place in town? Or if you don't have a favorite place, maybe like what is your favorite tradition, like Oktoberfest, something like that. So people can just go in a circle, and that'll get them kind of comfortable with the idea of how this is going to work. We'll bring copies of the survey results that we just kind of went over. So we're going to review the key findings from the survey, as well as like themes that were brought up in the public workshop, maybe things that we've talked about a lot in these committee meetings. So that'll be kind of the first half of it. And then the second half, we basically created like 3 different posters that we have. And each poster is listed with a handful of priorities. So the goal is to kind of get the group to come to a consensus and kind of rank which of the priorities are most important to them and what they want to see the town focus on in the next 10, 20 years. So it's kind of like a mini like master plan exercise where yes, like priorities are different for each individual, but as a group, what can we come to a consensus on? So we broke it up into, 3 different posters. So the first one's more kind of society, infrastructure focus, or institutional focus. So people, government services. So we've got quality of schools and education on there.
You did the
Online people.
10-year thing instead of 20.
Oh, yeah, I'll change that too. Healthcare services, safety, emergency services, things like that. So what is really important to you and the town needs to kind of focus on?
So how does the ranking go?
Yeah, so I guess probably, 1 through 10, yeah. And then I left like a blank one there in case something's not on this list. This is what just stood out to me as I was kind of looking at the survey results and everything, but there might be other things that stand out as well. And if anyone on the committee notices anything. Then the second poster would be environment, recreation kind of focus. So we need to focus more on like maintaining the trails, making sure there's farming opportunities, renewable energy, things like that. And so basically, so I think I said this before, but I'm just so curious how it's going to compare the group of kind of older residents versus younger residents. And then that'll really help us as we as a committee are kind of deciding. Again, because we don't have a lot of representation from younger people on this committee too. So just making sure their voices. It's very important. Yeah, and then the third poster is economy, housing, infrastructure.
Yep.
My phone stopped me. So affordability, job opportunities, supporting small businesses, affordable taxes, things like that. Thoughts on that? That was kind of, I had a.
What form would this take at, the high school? Like, you mean, just, like, have a booth or something in the main lobby? Is this kids going by, or?
Yeah, so we were thinking like just going to an existing group that would already kind of be meeting. So for example, like student council or like National Honor Society, something that's kind of already existing. And just go to one of their maybe regularly scheduled meetings, asking if we could take an hour of their time. Again, that's something I'm going to bring up with probably the high school principal and just see what they think is best.
Hijack a basketball game or something like that.
Are there numbers, how do the numbers work for you in terms of, is it better to have 20, 50, 1,000? What works best for you?
I'm envisioning more like 20-ish people, 10 to 20.
Because if you did it well enough in advance, you could even do an assembly and get a whole bunch of kids.
That is an idea.
If you felt it was manageable.
Yeah.
Kids will be out of class, they'll be happy.
Yeah.
I think it might be a little difficult for high school students to conceptualize what some of these topics are. like the applicability of
Taxes.
taxes or
Most of
why
healthcare
improving water and
services.
sewer services is important over the lifespan of the years, you know? So it might just take more explaining why these topics are
Yeah,
important.
I figured I'd have to come prepared with a lot of examples and explanations.
Or it might mean that you take this to a class that's focused on planning or government or civics or something, you know, talk to the principal at the high school about, because if you're looking for a group of 20 or 25 or something, you might have a class that this is more relevant to, so it can actually be something as part of their subject that they're studying. I don't know what class that would be, but.
I do know they've got some, I think I know they've got a government class, and I think they've got something, I think along the lines of civics.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, social studies.
Yeah, social study, yeah.
Yeah.
But to Meg's point, I think there's an educational element here. So I think the kids are going to be a lot smarter than you think, and some of these things are up to date. But what they don't know, you can share with them. So there would be sort of an educational element there too. They'll pick it up quick, trust me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, secretly, I'm going to turn them all into planners. That's my goal.
Plant the seeds, this is your chance.
Yep.
It all started with the
Recruit them
assembly
as
or whatever.
interns,
Yeah. You know, they don't have a lot of input when it comes to local government. They teach federal government, very little state, nothing for local. You know, years ago, we tried not to digress too much here, but we tried a local town government fair and curriculum, and we did it for about a handful of years, but it sort of dropped out, and the kids loved it. We would have people come in and talk to them, selectmen, you know, a town clerk, moderator, and then we'd have a town fair, and every committee, commission, and board would have a booth and talk to the kids. So I'm saying there's a place for this, and I think they'd be pretty receptive, however you design it.
Use something like that just for adults in the community. What does
Yes.
this board do? What does that committee do?
Getting engagement at younger ages, you know, doing, just a volunteer member of a committee to a selectman or mayor, you can move right up to President of the United States, you know, but it starts with service, I think, and just getting involved in what's going on locally. Just as your vision grows, you know, the scope of your abilities can grow too, along with it, so.
Absolutely. I feel like kids are hearing a lot of what's going on at the federal level too, so I think it's important for them to know how they can get involved and learn more at a local level as well.
Yeah, I think you could have a lot of fun with this.
I'm excited. Cool.
Any questions, comments on what's been presented regarding the mobile workshops? I'm sure we'll be discussing this further, Emily, or no?
Well, we were aiming to hold them in February,
Okay.
maybe March. I think it just depends on scheduling, especially for the school. There's a lot of events and stuff going on. So at the next meeting, I may be seeking more input, or I may be relaying what I learned from it. So.
Two
February,
things with February, sorry.
February 17th, the week of February 17th, their winter break.
Oh, okay, good.
I'm just going to say that. It's a short month to begin with, and they've got February vacation, so.
It wouldn't wait too long, though. I talked to the superintendent, try to find out who the teachers are that teach these civics classes and whatnot, and try to get their ear.
Yep.
Just let them know what we're trying to do. I'm sure they'll support you. They'll just have to slide you into their agenda, whatever they have planned. I'm sure they'll do.
Would you need any members of this committee to participate or help, or?
I don't think so, but if you have a passion for like youth education around civics or something and wanted to come with us, I would be more than happy to kind of involve you in that.
And if you have a job that has community relations in the title, as I do?
Yeah, that would work too. Yeah, just to see,
Okay.
professional, you know, what you do day to day. They might have questions and stuff.
Yeah,
If you're interested.
I am, yeah.
Cool.
Great.
If that's okay with the committee,
Sure.
yeah.
Absolutely.
depending on the dates and times, I may even represent the select board if it's possible.
Yeah, okay.
And our next meeting isn't until February, so we have to have that date. Made in February 19th.
Emily, did you pass out the town tour
Oh, yeah, that was the other thing. I'm sorry, I brought so much paper today.
schedule? Yeah.
But this is, so the last thing, just anticipating for the town tour, I know we've talked about it in the past couple meetings. This is my kind of draft schedule for what it's gonna look like for when me and Sam come to the tour. We proposed the date of Monday, February 3rd. Oh, here, fine. It's kind of a 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. schedule. We'll need to like reach out to kind of each of these locations and people just to make sure that time slot works. So there might be a little bit of rearranging, but just wanted to keep everyone in the loop of kind of what this is going to look like. We budgeted some time for a lunch. If there's any recommendations for a local business to eat lunch at, I know I've tasted at least a few of these places from the workshop. And then also budgeted time just to like drive around and not necessarily be like meeting with someone, but just kind of seeing what the sites are. I did, was it yesterday or the day before? The day that it was very snowy, I took a drive down to the state forest and did a nice snowy walk around there. So it was gorgeous out, it was beautiful. So yeah, something like that will fit in.
So one thing I noticed right away is the high school principal will likely not be there at 2:45.
Okay.
Like, kids get out at 2, right?
Yeah, but they usually work till 4.
Oh, yeah. They do?
Yep.
Okay, all right. I was.
That might actually be a good time, the kids
Oh,
out of the way.
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I was
Okay.
thinking they'd still be there, but they wouldn't be maybe meeting.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll check with them. Do the people look okay? I wasn't sure, I know we wanted transfer station on the list. Is there someone that
I don't know.
stations it? or-
They're
Saturday, they're
They'll be
open.
they're closed.
on
Tuesday,
Mondays.
Thursday, Saturday.
Okay. Would they open it up just for us? I just want to take some pictures.
You can see it from the
Board of
road.
Health.
Yeah.
The Board of Health is in charge.
They are, okay. Okay.
Some of these time slots, like I noticed from 9 to 10 on the first slot, then you have to teleport instantly over to the, well, okay, it's the same building, I'm sorry.
Yeah, they're here, right? Okay.
Okay, but I thought there was another one here that, yeah, fire department, the highway department, are they in the same?
Yep, they're right next to each
Right
other.
side, yep, okay.
And the driving tour, giving that 45 minutes.
Yeah.
It was a long day.
Just to drive from here down to the state forest.
Highway to transfer.
Point.
10 minutes?
Yeah,
I mean, I
transfer
can always,
station.
we
They're
can
all- they're
start
all
earlier, we don't have to start
generally
at
in the
9,
same
we can
spot,
start at
yeah.
8:30, and that would give us some time.
I don't know, depends on what your driving tour is.
Yes, it does.
So unfortunately, Chris Furno, the town clerk, is out sick, but it's going to be Lisa Postma, but that's PSTMA.
And the public library is Justin in?
Yep, Justin's in. Yep.
We were talking about having, so the way this is work is CMRPC is going to have like assigned chapter writers for each of the 7 or 8 sections. So having the chapter writer who's focusing on like natural and cultural and historic resources come down for a day, and maybe Rebecca like meet with you and then get a tour of like Jinx and other like historic places in town. And yeah, so that's what we had brainstormed, because I just feel like it's a lot to fit into like this day as well.
Jenks, You don't have keys for that, or anything?
No.
That would be.
But,
Okay.
yeah. So, Adult Social Center, Patrice has a program going on, but I think she should be okay. It's the painting program, so I don't think it'll be too much.
It's a lot to fit in one day.
Is so, honest question, like, you're not leaving a lot of time to talk to people.
Yeah, so hopefully,
What happens if something goes over?
Yeah.
Skip lunch.
I know, I don't need an hour.
I'm just wondering, like, you end up getting into a discussion, it could end up throwing, I'm thinking like a doctor's office, that one appointment runs over in the beginning of the morning and there goes the entire day.
Well,
Some might go really short. Don't talk to us at all.
Or you just prevent it from, just make it short.
lunch could be cut.
Like, treat it like a
down an hour
meeting,
with
like,
The driving
Yeah.
point
I only
too.
have,
Just a quick
Yeah.
little,
because really the idea is just we're gonna come, we're introducing ourselves, like, hey, we're from CMRPC, we're working on the master plan, what is the master plan? And then from this, we're going to get into stakeholder interviews, and so we want to, and a lot of these are very important stakeholders that we want to have deeper discussions with. So it's really just introducing ourselves and getting a sense of when we can have these discussions, with who, if they prefer face-to-face, if Zoom is better, on the phone. So it's really, they shouldn't be super long conversations, but I know some people are chatty. I don't know, they want to show their buildings, things like that. I don't know. So
For the town hall time slot, I'm just wondering, because we haven't, the only other town tour that I've been to, we didn't do the town hall like that. We sort of talked to them individually later. They weren't part of the tour. Was this all expected to be like in one room with all these people at once? Or
Probably not.
are we bracketing the meetings across the 9 to 10 time slot?
I think we'd just be popping into people's desks for town hall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think so. We're at 10 minutes each.
10 minutes, yeah.
That's fine.
You're like, people are busy.
Oh, yeah, that'll be fine. Might be enough.
Available at that 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Around luck.
So I'll send this out. Make
Yeah,
sure.
won't they get this beforehand?
Yeah.
And maybe you just save the driving tour until the end.
Yeah, that too.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Can you give us a sampling of what you're looking for, Emily? Is it just a dozen questions or so, or?
Not even.
So when you go to speak to any one of these, like the town administrator, what are you going to ask? What does that entail? I'm just trying to get a sense of time.
What you can say in that 10 minutes.
That's a good question. I hadn't figured that yet. Sam, what have you asked in previous? Sorry, you muted, Sam. In previous town tours.
It's less about the detail of what you ask and how long
Like-
it take you to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just kind of like what we kind of leave it in their court, like what they want to talk about. Are there any issues that you'd like to see discussed in the master plan, like long-term, think long-term? What improvements would you like to see for the department? Is capacity an issue? It can kind of just be like an assortment of things that like what do you envision your section of the master plan, or like when we talk about it, how do you want it to be framed,
So any one of those answers could be 10 minutes. I mean, I think you're going to need more time anyway.
Well, you'll probably get a couple
Yeah.
of these folks together, like town administrator, building commissioner. You'll probably get them at the same time.
It's just an introduction anyways.
Yeah, Emily,
and then we can
yeah.
follow up for an hour or two
Right.
and have a sit down.
I think this will be fine.
Yeah. I mean, we could just preface that, hey, we're going to be asking these questions. If you start to think about it, this is something that's coming, and we're going to be setting up deeper interviews.
Whereas then you give them time to plan too on what they
Yeah.
want to communicate,
Right.
knowing that, okay, we're here, this is what's going on. Hi, I'm so-and-so, introduction. We'd like to have a sit down and discuss whatever at your convenience.
They'll have their own
And
staff.
you move on and
run
move,
by,
and,
get their opinions too.
yeah.
But different people are going to give you different responses. I mean, some of these people are going to wax and wane. If you get onto something that they're really interested in, like the town administrator, you ask him some of these questions, I think, it can take some time. And you want the responses, I assume, right? You don't want to cut them off. I really think you're going to need some more time. Even if you just build it in.
And we split this up into 2 visits. Whatever you get to, you get to.
Maybe if the people that run out of time with say, well, we'll get back to you and we'll do this again and,
And then we can sit
just leave all
sit
this
down
for
and
the
get
one
more
day.
depth.
And the people that would say, and make another day.
Right, yeah.
Like, I see it as just being a primer.
That's what I was
Yeah, an introduction. Get them thinking about it.
Are you planning on circling back? Or
Yeah.
would you like to get it done?
Right after this is when we're going to dive into the stakeholder interviews. So that's when we'll have, an hour, 2-hour discussions with these people, and then probably send out a set of questions beforehand. Like you said, primer.
So also on the 3rd, we could go to the police chief and say, hey, this is what we're trying to do, and then we'd be trying to book a second appointment basically right from that one, the next day or the next week or in a short period
Just
of time.
asking them, is there a
Do you want to sit
specific
down
day
longer?
that's good? We can pick a day right now, bring in calendars. I just find, face-to-face introductions I do so much emailing and nobody gets back to me and it can be frustrating. So I really think it's important to kind of take the time and make the introductions. And people don't know who CMRPC is.
That's good. I'll send this out to anyone who's on the list, so they're ready for it. Be all right?
So we'll leave it as is?
I think so. We'll just add a couple of
make it
folks
work.
on here.
Except for the driving tour.
Driving tour, I think we're going to push to the end. And if we have time, we'll do that. But obviously, we can always come back and do another, tour and see the sites. Maybe when it's a little nicer out.
Put the water department in where the driving tour is. Just do that. All right.
Correct.
So are we all planning on being here for that? I mean, I don't.
Yeah, sorry. Don't worry about it. This is just me and Sam.
Okay.
I think Matt. I think that might be it. Maybe one other person from CMRPC. Maybe if someone wanted to come, like one other person from the committee, if you have a full day. And like doing introductions. But no pressure.
I'm game.
Okay. I think Bob, he had also wanted to maybe.
All right. Well, coming up on 7 o'clock.
Yeah, that's all that I had. Thank you so much.
Yep, thank you, Emily and Sam.
Just switch it over.
Anything else the committee wants to address at this point? Questions, comments? Very good, we went over quite a bit. Thank you again, CMRPC reps. I got a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second. Made by Michael, seconded by Ross. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
You need a roll
Ayes
call?
have it.
At what time?
Sorry, do we need to do roll call? on that?
6:58.
6:58. To adjourn, do we need to roll call?
Technically, yes.
Yikes.
Yep.
Roll call vote.
Brown eye.
Robert Moran, aye.
Rebecca LaValle, aye.
Robert Leonardi, aye.
Gordon Larrabee, aye.
Mike Swicker, aye.
Mike Schmissman, aye.
Barbara Bacon, aye.
Dave Mascot, aye.
Ross Smith, aye.
Rich Preston, aye.
Carol.
The ayes have it.